This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm JP.
And I'm Ben.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm back, rather. I went on a little excursion. I went down to one of the most crowded places I've ever been on planet Earth, to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. It was nuts how crowded that place was. And then we went over to Myrtle Beach, and this was for spring break for my kids. We had some time off, so we took 9 days and had some awesome fun. I rear-ended somebody. It was great. It was awesome. It was a fun time. So I'll get a little bit into it once we get going. But
rear-ended with your car?
Yes. Yeah, I had my kids with me. Come on. That was the rear-ending. We went, and it was like in Dayton, Ohio, too. So I don't like Dayton, Ohio now. But
go Flyers.
It's a minor league team, right?
No, it's the college.
Okay. Yeah, it had nothing to do with Dayton. It was 100% me, but just one of those like unfortunate situations. But I'll get into it. A little bit later. So door_disc_golf, night_owl_pod, and then doordisc.com. So those are where you can find us. And then DoorDisc Golf on YouTube. Come find us. I think we're up to like 49 subscribers now. Big deal. We should do a party at 50. We should do this big, like, get the big 50.
Get the streamers, big balloons.
Yeah. Invite all of our 50 people. I mean, we could actually probably do that and
hack the shop.
Yeah. I know. We'd still have a little room in there, I think.
You know how awesome it would be to have a live studio audience at the shop and then record there?
It would be pretty fun. I
mean, that's kind of a fun thing to think about.
Yeah. Well, as people are like rifling through discs and
yeah.
I think it's a great idea. If we have any thoughts about discs, we can just go grab them and show them. So I like the idea. I don't know. Did I need to say anything else? Yeah, I think that's it. So those are all social media. So here's my question for you two. How do you feel about all the sensors that are in vehicles nowadays?
It's funny you say that. When I was driving up with a couple of gentlemen for Springtime Open a couple of weeks ago, the sensors in my car, like they were all covered in salt when we were driving up because the crews went out very early to ensure that like the highways weren't going to be just pure ice, but it was still warm enough that it wasn't snow, but it was just kind of like a rain mixture. So like my entire car was just caked with salt, and none of the sensors were able to see anything. So my dashboard was just lighting up. I do enjoy a lot of those safety features in terms of like giving me like the lane notification when I'm, deviating and somebody's over there. So I am a fan when they're not covered in, the sensors are covered in salt.
What about you, JP? You drive a lot.
I do drive a lot. I don't have any like fancy lane departure features or anything like that. The most recent thing is my check engine light has come on.
That's fancy.
Yeah. So that's fun. And traction control when we were driving to the Springtime Open, that was also fun. So slip sliding everywhere. I wish the first time I actually had seen anything cool like that was when I was driving with Jordan at DDO. Like his car had like the fancy heads up display and it like had all the cool stuff. But I mean, I wish I had a car that would kind of do all that. It would make life a little easier driving. Because even like driving, because I'm on the right side of the car because of my right-hand drive vehicle, it's hard to look over on the left because all the pillars are blocking and there's lots of blind spots. So there's constant checking for traffic. It would just be nice to have that sensor where it's like ding, 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 someone's passing you by rather than having to look out.
Yeah, I agree. I think all of them are really, really nice. When I got this first one, or actually my truck, my Ram, had a couple of those little sensors, and I was like, man, this is kind of cool. And then when I got my Altima, it had a bunch of stuff like lane departure sensors. It does kind of almost an auto drive. As long as you keep a little pressure on the steering wheel, it'll actually keep you centered in the lane, do all that stuff. And I usually turn a lot of that stuff off just because you have to like fighting your steering wheel. But it has like auto braking. So if someone stops too quickly in front of you, it'll help you brake and it'll notice those things to you. And it does like little alarms and everything. So the thing that I'm a little disappointed about is I think cars are just overly complicated now. I've only gotten in like one or two minor fender benders in my life. I was in one fender bender where my best friend ended up having to have a like brain surgery. Because we got into someone hit us really like this old huge Volvo rear-ended us at a light, and didn't even try to stop, just rear-ended us. And recently I got into an accident in Dayton where someone hit the brakes. We're basically rush hour, and someone just like locked up the brakes in front of us, and I came to a stop. Like, I don't know how there was any room between us, and then they started to move. So I let up on the brakes and I looked over and someone slid up on the side of us. Cause like, everybody's avoiding all the things. So this one big white vehicle slid up on the side of us. And I looked over and proceeded to run into the back of the person that was in front of us that was already started to move. So it was like 5 miles an hour, no damage to their vehicle at all. Barely any damage, like cracked a piece of like trim on my front bumper. But all of the sensors on the front are at. So I had no cruise control for 800 miles coming back, which was nightmarish. And, no lane sensors, no anything like that. And it was just from like this little 5 mile an hour impact. And it's just like, what a nightmare, 100% my fault, but it's like getting everything, like they have to replace the entire bumper, the entire impact zone, like all the sensors and all this. So it ends up being like $4,000 to fix this car. And it's nothing. I mean, you saw the car, like you didn't notice anything when you came in, JP, huh?
No, actually I didn't. No.
I mean, it's like,
it's dark out, but
yeah,
I didn't see much.
But even in the daylight, really you only notice there's a piece of chrome that's kind of like this plastic chrome that's just a little broken. And that's it on the whole front end. It's just like, it is what it is. So yeah. I don't know the relation to disc golf other than then I had just finished playing a disc golf course and we were like all talking about it. Malachi was all super excited about it. He's all of a sudden gotten into it just recently. I'm not sure why, but I'm embracing it. Like he wanted to go play today, and I was like, but I got a lot to do, but we'll make sure we make time this weekend. But yeah, so that was that. So after going on my trip, I rear-ended somebody on the way home. It was awesome. So
I'll go ahead.
I was gonna say this is back to disc golf related. I told JP I want to take a cruise in his Jeep so I could experience driving on the right side at Springtime Open. So
yeah,
I still want to do that.
Did you give him that honor or no?
No, not yet. I gotta wait for the check engine light to go off first.
Well, it did. It's off. It's weird, but the engine still kind of makes a little sputter kind of thing. So I'm gonna replace the spark plugs and hopefully it'll work out. But relating not Shane's accident, but an accident in disc golf. Ben Calloway got in an accident driving out to North Carolina, and
I did see that.
Yeah, and he was coming off of a exit, I think. I don't know if he was going too fast or what the deal was. He said he was trying to go make a turn, and he ended up just kind of like going straight, or I don't know if he was going straight, and he ended up turning, and he ended up going into like a 10-inch concrete divider and like wrecking his I think he drives an SUV. I don't remember what it is, like a GMC or something like that. Yeah, he said he was okay. Some lady stopped to help him out and everything, but then he had to get a rental car to head back out for the Silver Series.
Jeez, man. It's scary. Like after I had that, even that little minor thing that we did, and then how my son reacted, because my son, it was his first time ever being in something like that. And he was just freaking out. But we had, after we moved down and everything, he was like, I can get on a plane and go home. I don't want to be in the car anymore. It's okay. We're safe. It happens. It's dangerous. And we saw one crash early in the trip as we were headed down to Pigeon Forge, and it was pretty devastating. There was about 3 cars that were all kind of like tussled up, and then there was one that you're like, I don't know how someone could even have survived that was in that vehicle. It was just that bad. So it's dangerous, if you just seconds off the road and it happens. But I'm glad Ben Calloway's okay and he made it to the event, huh? Sounds like.
Yeah, sounds like he's signed up, and I'm guessing he's still going to participate.
Still going to be there.
I understand.
Perfect. All right, well, thrower, hanger, flipper. What do we get?
Throwing up a goose egg.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
That must mean.
Are you sure?
This means I'm the only one that bought anything, unless Shane got anything.
I thought about getting a Cloudbreaker today, but I didn't. I'm holding off.
Wow. Oh, you're holding off for the cast blast, aren't you?
Yeah. I think I am.
In the arms of the angels.
I loved that because I just immediately started singing that song when you wrote that.
But
my hat? Oh, I did buy something. See my hat?
Oh yeah.
See these are rubber patches. So we have them now where iron on this, and then you see this part right here, the outer lining is bright yellow as well. That same color as the eye. So we have those both iron on, and then we have same versions, both versions in bag patches too. So,
nice.
Velcro backed.
Yeah.
So they'll be up on the site this weekend, and you'll be able to buy them. I don't think they'll be that expensive. I think they'll be $4.50, $5, something like that.
That's a steal.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
They're
nice.
rubber, right? They're like rubber.
Yeah, they're nice rubber patches, like 3D. Like they're really, really solid. I'm hoping nothing comes off as I rub them. No, they're really nice and solid. So that was what I bought.
Nice. I bought a Harrier, a Lone Star Harrier. So
that's understable, right? Like -3, -2, high speed.
Yeah, Ben's just got some. So we'll keep going, Ben, if you want to jump off and then jump back on, see if that helps anything. But for some reason it said Ben's.
Oh.
Yeah, it said Ben's
See you later.
Browser doesn't allow recording. So
my goodness, this has happened to him before too. That's
it is. It's
coming
weird.
back.
Yeah, Ben's browser doesn't allow recording. It still says.
I'm here. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We record every week. I record 2 podcasts every week. This is just a weird thing that happened. To answer your question, yes, it's a 12.6 -3.2. So it's kind of like in that wild honey family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so a little less stable than a wild honey, right? So
yeah.
Is it Alpha, Bravo?
I bought it in it was part of the allotment. We got our second run of allotment, so I got mine in Bravo.
Did you get a Benny?
I did not get a Benny. No. I don't like putting with beads, so that's just a preference. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with my penny.
Yeah, because I think those came out during Music City. Is that right? Where I thought I saw that they were coming out and there's some sweet Johnny Cash stamps or something like that.
That's awesome. I like what they're doing with the Benny, and I'm hoping that it feels nice. And because if it does, I think a nice Alpha would be a great thrower for a Benny. I don't think I'll get off judges, but I'll try it. I'll throw it in my bag for a week or two. And let's give a round of applause for JP and upgrading from, what was it, the Yukon Gold he had?
It was the standard camera on my computer, and so I've entered the future, which is also the present, but moving forward, I'm still in the future.
Yeah, you are 1080p.
Full HD. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. You can probably see the smudges on my glasses.
Yeah. All right. So Ben, I'm hoping that you're recording because I am showing nothing on my end that says you're recording.
It says on my end I'm recording.
Okay, good.
But I can.
Fantastic.
No, we'll keep going. It just says 0% uploaded. So
yeah. Hope. Do you want me to refresh? I can refresh and come back in if you'd like.
Ooh. No, let's just roll with it. I think we're good because it does say recording on my end now. So
we'll figure it out.
Make sure we're all live, uncut, raw. This is how we roll.
Me and my friends at Riverside have become such great friends, so we'll figure it out.
You know, I gotta come out and say this because we have had maybe 2 recordings that haven't had issues. And I think that's it. I don't know if it's something we're doing or what, but man, these recordings, they like, especially our, so we have to apologize about our record quality because that's Riverside seems to be doing us dirty this way, but we'll figure it out. And if we don't, we'll switch to another program. So with that being said, here's our preview. So we'll go over Music City Open, Blue Ridge Championship. We'll make some picks on that one. We'll talk about Paul McBeth and his most recent record, I guess you call it that. We'll talk about some co-captaining. Ben will have his random question, and then we'll go into shop updates. So we have some exciting stuff that did come into the shop, so we'll talk about those. Outside of that, let's get started on having a conversation about the Music City Open. I was in the area physically, but I did not go there. But I do know that, and there's no such thing as spoilers in live sports, that Tatar and Simon Lizotte. So Kristen Tatar won the FPO and Simon Lizotte won the MPO. I'm super happy for both of them. I love both of them as players, and I'm super excited that they both won. So wasn't there something fancy about Simon that you said?
He is the third MPO player to win 2 or more Elite Series or Majors from the Chase card, and he joins Paul McBeth and Ken Climo.
Nice. So, and he's killing it this year already. MVP. What do you think his chances are in finishing in the top 5 at Worlds this year?
Good, because considering it's New England disc golf where the location is, so that's what I'll go with.
He's way north. What do you think, JP?
Yeah, I would say he is definitely feeling confident now with, he had the second place at Austin and the win here. He's relying a lot on his proxy, which it seems to be throwing really well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think just the comfortability that he's having right now, he's kind of in figured things out. So yeah, confident Simon and trusting the lines that he throws and everything. I think that's dangerous. I said this last time. I think last year when he rattled off 4 straight wins, I said confident Simon and his ability to throw is dangerous for the MPO field. But at the same time, it's Calvin, hard to unseed him right now either. So still hot.
Yep. And then Tatar back on top again. So he's saying, Ben, I didn't get to watch any of it, but Ben, you'd said that they drew some rough weather, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit that I saw. It was miserable. There was multiple rounds of just high winds and rain and cloud coverage, and no one was having fun. That was just kind of the way that it kind of looked out there. And par was great. It was kind of what people were hoping for as far as on the FPO side. There's a couple times where there was where Kristen Tatar was the only one playing under par.
Nice. I mean, that
was it. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, wasn't Holland in the lead for a little bit, and then Holland ended up, I think, double bogeying a hole or something, and Kristen stole the lead from her there and just didn't give it up.
Yeah, it was. It was fun to watch in the sense that it was a revolving kind of carousel of who was in the lead. It was Holland for a while and Kristen and Macy Valadiaz. They seemed to be the 3 that were just kind of cycling through as to who was holding a lead for a bit. But then, yeah, exactly that. Holland kind of gave it up. And then, Kristen then just kind of went into doing Kristen Tatar things and put the pedal down.
And how about Holland Hanley? I mean, I know that we're fans because of the show, because of her visiting us and having a conversation with us. But reality, would you ever assume that Holland would be as relevant as she is now? Because I'm trying to think, her finishes this year have been pretty darn good. I mean, her worst finish is at the DGPT this year, 21st. She hasn't been off the out of top 5 in any other event in 5 other events that she's played. So the pride at Waco was her worst finish this year.
Yeah, and I think Ben and I picked her to win, and we got flat for it that weekend. But
well, and I think I picked her for 3rd or 2nd as well. I think I had her on my podium as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I honestly didn't expect her to do that well. I'm a big fan of her, but I mean, so 5th at Music City, and then
it's kind of like her and Ella Hansen are kind of on the same trajectory almost, but I might give a slight edge because I just feel like Holland's game all around is just a tick more polished than Ella Hansen's.
And Ella has about 1 year professional touring experience over her, right?
That might be correct.
I feel like they're kind of like around the same. Like I don't think that there's a huge difference in terms of maybe number of events that they've played. I think that's probably the easiest way to look at it, or kind of use that as a measuring stick, is like number of Pro Tour events.
Mm-hmm.
So they are both 2020 members. So yeah, they're both the same. Holland is rated 5 points above Ella at the present moment. And she has a ton more career wins and more money than Ella.
But she was grinding some of those B tiers and C tiers for a while before coming on tour.
True, and Ella just kind of jumped right in, huh? She didn't really do a lot of the smaller stuff. Well, it's not a lot more money, but she has a lot more wins. She has 41,000. Ella has 40,000. But career wins is 22 for Holland. Ella only has 8.
Okay.
So that's really the big difference. So yeah, I have to say I'm pretty impressed by Holland. She is probably going to become more regular in my top picks, and confidently more regular in my top picks. So, all right. Anything else to be said about Music City?
I know we talked about Ben Calloway earlier. He decided to drop out, he said on an Instagram post, because of his standings in the tournament and weather.
So he wasn't doing good?
Yeah, apparently. I don't know where he finished or where he was when he decided to drop out, but that was his reasoning for dropping out, was based upon his current position and where the weather was, that he wanted to drop out. And I was like, okay, fair enough, weather, whatever, like that's a safety issue. But the fact that maybe perhaps you weren't cashing or playing the way he wanted, that's just kind of like sour grapes, just like, meh.
I agree. Because there's always something to be learned and something to be worked on. And to drop out of a tournament because of your place or your standing, I don't know if I truly feel that that's an appropriate reason to drop out. I feel like that's kind of a throw yourself on the floor because you're not getting what you want.
That's some Joel Freeman type stuff.
You see the smile that came to Ben's face.
You said it.
I did say it.
Also, that's your job, Ben Calloway. Like, it is your job. Like, it's your job to roll through the punches one way or the other. Like, if you, like you said, JP, like, if he genuinely, like, or Shane might have said it, like, if it's a safety issue or, like, you, like, legit, well, you take my example, like, I hurt my knee and, like, I wasn't feeling, like, didn't think I was in a good position for the second round, or I was in a position where I could have hurt it worse. Like, that's, like, obviously I'm saying it, but it's like, that's another excuse. It's a whole nother ball game other than just like, I'm cold.
Right.
Like that's the vibe I get from Ben Calloway on this one is, I'm cold and I'm not going to make any money. Bye.
I lost my windbreaker. What the heck?
And isn't there, so I know that ratings don't matter. We'll throw it up there. Ratings don't matter. Yeah. Yes, they do. But isn't there an automatic deduction if you 999 an event?
No. I learned that because I played one round and I played well above my rating, and then ratings came out and then my rating went up. So all of your So if you 999, all of your rounds that you completed are still impact your rating. Now, if you drop out in the middle of the round, that round just doesn't count. Because like if you were to complete the round and you threw like plus 11, right, and you are normally like, maybe plus 2 or 3, right? Like that's like that's why people like DNF, and like it doesn't go into that, and like people to DNF, so it doesn't impact your rating. But anything that you do complete is still goes towards your rating.
So is there? I should know this better, and I should have looked it up. Is there a difference between 999 and 888? So 999 is just you just didn't finish. 888 is a medical, correct?
No, 999 is just a withdrawal. So it's medical. 888 and I can look it up right now, and 888 is a round that it's like a rules violation, I believe.
Okay. So 888 versus
I'm looking
999.
it up right now.
So round scores entered in 888 when a player has not notified the TD that they will not be playing the next scheduled round. Entered 888 when the player has been confirmed to have manipulated their score or dropped out to preserve their rating. So for all other cases, the players will be able to finish the round and enter 999. So an 888 is if you drop out because you're trying to preserve your rating, and isn't that what Callaway did?
I mean, he could have told the TD like anything. Like when I told the TD for springtime was like, oh, I literally just said, hey, I need a 999, and he goes, okay, and like there were no questions. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he did it in between rounds, so he completed a round, and then probably just notified him that he didn't want to continue. So I don't know. Could you say that was Ricky's situation a couple of weeks ago where he didn't complete the round and he just said, oh, it's an injury? I believe that more than what Ben Callaway. But
Ben Callaway straight up said, yeah, because of my standing. My place.
My place in the...
Yeah. Because I've seen people do that before where they'll throw a round because they want to get it below their standard deviation, all that stuff. But actually quitting and then posting it publicly on a social media platform, I'm pretty sure an 888 comes with an automatic deduction in your rating, but who knows? And the reason I'm bringing that up, is if that is the case, and I'm not completely off my rocker, the way you register events now is tiered by rating, and those points make a big difference nowadays, especially for professional tour card carrying pros. So I know hopefully it wasn't a bad mistake, and hopefully he didn't get the 888. I didn't check his score to figure out or not. Or maybe it was just simply a DNF because it was between rounds. Maybe it has to be during round in order to get the 888 or the 999. So, all right. So with that, anything else?
Ricky came back and he actually completed the tournament, and he finished 8th, which was pretty good for a comeback, I would say.
Yeah. And then last time I looked, Paul was like 21, but I know the last round he did decent, so I don't know where he ended up finishing, McBeth. But
Paige Pierce on the other side was down in the 20s.
Yeah.
First, I think she finished.
She and Katrina both. Like, Paige is on the feature card first round, and that's really the only MPO or FPO round I had watched, but she struggled, like staying in bounds. I mean, a lot of people still staying in bounds. Like Deanne Carey was on that card. She kind of struggled a lot too, but Paige Pierce was all over the place. And Katrina finished 18th, and then Paige.
James Conrad almost won a guitar. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
For if you aced hole 16, you got a guitar, and he hit the band.
Oh, really?
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Man, was it a Gibson guitar as well? Like
the
winners got? Yeah.
Yep. They had if you aced that hole, you got a guitar. And the reason why I bring that up is because that same hole that like everybody was like hitting, like this island, like it was a downhill island, and like the back of the green was like kind of vertical. So like realistically, for both sides of the pro field, like just throw something into it and it was going to stick. Like you weren't going to get any bad rollaways, but there were some trees on the front side of it and it had like this little creek that was separated the front half of the island. And I watched Paige Pierce twice just rip it right into these trees. Like, and like everybody before her was throwing the exact same shot, just a little stall hyzer in, and like you just let it stick right on the green. The weather was raining, so it was soft. So plenty of people were tombstoning everything in there. Yeah.
It was gross weather because it was very comparable to what we had, I'm assuming now, and it was gross because I was in South Carolina at the time. And let's get into our picks for Blue Ridge Championship. So it is a silver series, and it is Innova Blue Ridge Championship. So let's go with our top threes again. We'll do no honorable mention, but there are some pretty notable players playing. So let's get into it. MPO will go first, and then FPO after that. We'll do all three of our picks for MPO, and then all three of our picks for FPO. MPO is, I'll go first for MPO. I am going to go with Matteo third. Heimberg, I'm going to have take it, and then second place is going to be the hard one for me. I'm going to go with Dickerson. So it's going to be Calvin, Dickerson, and Oram. I keep picking Oram. I feel like he's going to do
it. One of these days.
Just got to believe.
Yeah, I do. I'm putting my picks where my mouth is. Sounds weird. I shouldn't say that.
You do you, man. You do you. Third place, I'm going to take someone that's been kind of hot this year, James Proctor.
Mm-hmm.
Second place, I'm going to take Gannon. And then first place, I'm going to take Calvin.
In third place, I'm going to go Vino Makala. And then second place, I'm going to go Isaac Robinson. And then I'm going to just take Calvin because it's a fool's errand if you're picking anybody else right now.
Yeah. So no Ricky's in there, huh? For first, second, or third. Still banking on the hurt wrist or hurt whatever it is, body thing, disease.
I just don't think he has enough rounds under him right now to do it. I don't know. And we'll see, he hasn't played back-to-back tournaments, so we'll see how that goes.
All right. All right, we picked our MPO, and let's take a time of reflection right now. Ben, can you explain your backdrop, please? Because I am enjoying it a lot.
So these are my nuns. They don't have any names, but they're just smoking darts. So the story behind this is that I'm in my basement, and when we bought this house last year, we had to have some electrical work done, and I'm pretty cheap, so I went the cheap route. Instead of having the electrical run through the ceiling, I was like, it's my basement, like it's like just where we hang out and watch TV. So they ran electrical along the wall, and I just ran it through like some tubing, and then they ran it in. So they were running 220 volts. We could put in laundry. So the TV is over to this side of me, but so then we wanted something to cover it up at least, just on a couple of the walls. So we went with some tapestries from Amazon, and my basement is pretty fun. I think most of the people that come down here just enjoy like the randomness of the things that are on the wall. So I have another tapestry over there that's like a Prohibition era one of like guys holding signs that say "We want beer." But yeah, these are my nuns. I got them on Amazon. They are this whole thing is 6 feet by 8 feet. So they're very big nuns.
It looks like a green screen. Honestly, like it looks like I don't know. Not terrific to describe for like audio listeners at all, but that's what exactly. It
looks pretty flawless. Looking at myself in the camera right now, I think they're looking at them. I think they're I think they're Roman Catholic. Like, I think like they're actually in Rome, I think is what the description is when I bought it. So
honestly, one of them looks like Mother Teresa's smoking a cigarette.
yeah.
The one with the little white.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So
none of them are winning MPO because I'm pretty sure, or none of them are winning FPO because I'm pretty sure they're all dead. But
there's a very, very solid chance of that. All right. So back to the regular scheduled program here. Let's do our FPO picks. So top 3, and we'll keep it in the same order. I am going to. I'm going to do Tatar 1, Holland 2, and Ella 3.
Alrighty, I'm gonna say Tatar 1. No surprise there. I'm gonna pick second. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna pick Henna. And third, I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Own.
All right.
I'm gonna go in third, Paige Shoe. In second, I'm going to go Cat Merch, and then I'm going to go Missy for the win. Missy Gannon.
All right. So I think that's a beautiful segue into our co-captain conversation.
I set him up. You knock him down.
I did. I swung for it. So here we go. Missy Gannon has now become the co-captain of the Discraft team alongside Paul Ulibarri. So I look at it just off of face value when I was told this, simply that now there's a women's and a men's coach, but it didn't sound like that from what you guys were talking about, huh? In the video?
I don't know. The video just kind of sounded like, to me, like the video was interesting because it was weird in the sense that it was Yuli and Missy sitting on a picnic table, or at least that's what it looked like. And then they were just like, yeah, here's this thing that's happening. And like Yuli just described it as like she's relieving him of some of the duties of being a captain and that like she's earned this title. And then like Missy was like, yeah, I'm just hoping to be another voice that the players on the team can go to. So I'm like, in my head, my initial reaction is Yuli not approachable? Because like I don't ever get that vibe from him. But I think there is something to be said about her just, you know, obviously going through the FPO side of things is very different, obviously, than going through the MPO side of things. So I think just having that could definitely help. But I don't really know. Like the thing is that they were just so cryptic of like what do they actually do? Like. Like as the captain, like, cause I don't think anybody really knows. It was obviously different from each team to team, but like, do we really know what these captains are actually doing?
Is this one of those promotions that don't mean anything? It's just a title to keep someone around.
I'm sure it comes with some cash.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, she got a couple extra discs, or you know, she had some color changing thrashers or whatever in her honor of becoming captain. So I mean, she's going to get a little kickback from those. Yeah, it's weird. I'm kind of wondering why Missy and if they just kind of like Paige just wanted nothing to do with it.
But realistically, is Paige captain material? If we're taking it by merit of what a captain is.
No, that's totally a good point, because I don't feel like I would be comfortable approaching Paige. I'd be much more comfortable probably approaching Missy.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Or Paul.
Or Paul, yeah. I mean, it could just be that they have so much on their plate that they're like, can't deal with the amount of stuff that they have going on, along with extra duties. But yeah, we don't really know what the extra duties are of being captain. So
I think that there's also something to be said about like Missy and Yuli, and they've just been around a long time, so they provide a level of a voice to the people on the other teams. Because I feel like you got to remember, like there are multiple teams within Team Discraft. And I feel like if you are somebody like on, I don't know the names of the teams, so we'll just call it like the step below, like their elite team. I think it's their tour team.
Tour team, yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're somebody on the tour team, like, and you are having like, have to have like a serious conversation of being like, talking about compensation or like your disc allotment or something else. So like, I feel like if for some people on these other teams, Missy and Yuli are definitely more approachable than 11 world championships. Talking about kind of like the struggles of like being on tour, or like some of these struggles of things when you've got a guy who's driving around in a McLaren and an RV with his name on it, and Paige is flying into events at this stage of her career.
Yeah,
true.
It's very different.
Yeah. I would say those two are probably on their own level as far as how their team status works. I mean, they're definitely on their own level. I don't think there's comparisons between Missy and Paul, and then McBeth and Pierce. I wouldn't assume there would be. Oh, all right. Well, good for her. I'm super happy about it. And the Thrashers looked fantastic. They were stunning discs. Obviously they take the best pictures, but they're still fantastic looking discs. I wish I knew anything about Thrashers, but I don't know. I know we have them in the shop. I know people like them, but outside of that, I don't know if they're great throwers or what this new plastic does for their flight paths or their flights. All right. So on to Paul McBeth. Speaking of being on another level, Paul McBeth, for the first time since 2012. Any guesses?
I already know, but
yeah, we already know.
So fell out of the top 3. Fun fact: he is still the tied for the highest rated player in the U.S. as far as PDGA ratings go. But
those don't matter.
Yeah, but they don't matter, of course. But at 1046 right now. But he fell out of the power rankings, I guess you would call him, from Ulti-World out of the top 3. So how does that make you guys feel? Is it surprising to you, or is it kind of like as the tides are turning?
I think with Paul at this stage, or just I shouldn't say at this stage, as of recently, Paul has had like more variations in his finishes. Like, I mean, even just a couple of years ago, his lowest finishes weren't like far like off of each other. He was either winning podium or like 6th or 7th or 8th, like always top 10. We've seen him kind of fall a little bit as far as like his finishes like over the last couple of years. So I think it's a combination of the field getting better, but I think it's also just, that's obviously the biggest kind of portion of it, but I don't necessarily know like outside of that, like what else is going on. That's just the only thing that I think like for me that's tangible that I can see like numbers wise is like his finishes.
Yeah. What do you think, JP?
Yeah, I think it's just the talent gap closing and people kind of catching up to them, and like Ben said, finishing above them. It's not that he's falling off. I think people are just catching up and placing better to, based on what tournaments they play well at. And then he's obviously busy with the foundation like before, and kind of moving things around there. But I don't know. I mean, he's still elite. Like, he still competes. There's no question about that. The rankings are weird too, because Rookie's still number 1. I think Calvin's 2 from what I had seen. And then Gannon Burr. I mean, I don't know. The UDisc has it different than Ulti-World, but I mean, you look at some of the finishes that obviously Gannon had the USDGC. Ricky was the tour leader in points. So, but then you still have like Eagle McMahon in there, and Eagle really didn't play at all last year, except for a couple good finishes, and then like European Open winner. So I don't know what these world rankings are exactly, or how points are compiled for them, or whatever they're using, but it is what it is. So I'm not too mad about it.
I just go by the eye test.
Yeah, that's what because right now you would say, okay, right now Calvin would be number one in the world based upon how he's playing, but that's kind of like a power rankings thing more than a world ranking. So I don't know.
I think power rankings are just more accurate because we would not put Ricky anywhere up there just because he's played one event, right? Like
exactly. Power rankings are like the eye test, you know, like where they're at currently, and I think you have to go on that like base. Like world rankings, I think you could do like once every couple of months or whatever. Like they don't fluctuate that much, but the power rankings can definitely go up and down based upon how hot the player is and how well they're playing. So I think, yeah, Calvin, then probably like Gannon's up there. You could put Simon in like top 5 maybe for power rankings. I don't know.
Yeah. If I had to choose, I'm trying to pull up the Ulti World, the one that I saw. If I had to choose, I don't understand why Ricky still hangs at the top. I think relevance-wise, Paul still holds. This is going to be I don't think it's that controversial, but I would say Paul still ranks higher than Ricky just because of relevance, and I think that's a power rankings. But
just pure, I mean that's just number of events that he's played, and Paul's been in the mix. I mean, Paul's in the mix at Austin, he was in the mix at Vegas, all the events that Ricky didn't play. So yeah, I wouldn't say that's controversial at all. I would say that's rooted in fact.
Right, exactly. And so, but I would put Calvin at the top. I think Simon would be in the top 5, like you said. I mean, I really think he's probably sitting at number. You know, it's hard because there's relevancy. I would say he's sitting at probably 3, you know, I mean, maybe behind
Gannon.
Gannon's
got to win. Yeah.
I would say it'd be probably Simon, Gannon, Dickerson.
Kyle Klein's got to be up there in the mix as well.
Yeah, he's in the top 10.
Ricky. Yeah. I mean, I think you're seeing a lot of people creep up. You know, Ezra is actually holding pretty darn well with some of his top 10 finishes. So he's creeping up there as well. You're seeing a lot of guys that you just simply don't see usually up on these leaderboards just creeping in. But to say that Paul McBeth out of the top 3, that's kind of a big deal because it hasn't happened since 2012. When he got into the top 3 of the, you know, best players in the world. Now, since 2012, you could argue that maybe he hasn't been the top 3 player, but he's always been PDGA ranked because it wasn't until 2018 that we started seeing these other power ranking lists that would actually kind of contradict what the PDGA's ranking system is or rating system is. So it's a big deal. I mean, to see him pull out now, to see him drop down. So with that being said, do you think this is going to be a kind of that Tiger syndrome where he's still relevant, people still fear him, but in reality, what are his chances of actually winning? And it's kind of how Tiger is. I mean, Tiger, people still fear him. He's still a great, fierce player. But is he really the favored to win any tournament he gets into at this point? No. But he's still a great player. People show up, and he can win. But nobody's going to pick him as a favorite. I mean, people pick him as a favorite just because of popularity-wise. But in true statistic, you know, like put him on the scoreboards in Vegas, and he's going to have pretty decent odds.
I think it's just so different. I think Tiger made the cut at the Masters, and he was the last on the cut, right? He was the cut line. So like, where Paul McBeth is, with the exception of the one time, like he's never like I don't see him at that level of just like on the cut line. Like he's always like he's so like I think there is more fear when you are on a card with Paul McBeth that he can do something crazy. Where Tiger is just at the age now where he's like he himself has said he's picking and choosing his events. He's probably going to be going on the farewell tour soon of just kind of just playing the majors. Where like Paul's still going to be around, so I think that it's just for me. I think it's like kind of apples and oranges. I don't think you can kind of compare the two. And I know you're not. I know you're not getting into that, but I was just saying like I don't think Paul's at that career yet.
Tiger didn't just drop to that point. Tiger slowly took that slide down, and I think that's what I'm comparing to. Is this that slide for Paul? Is Paul on his way down? He's not washed up. I'm not saying that he's on his farewell tour. I'm not saying any of that. But do you see that as being part of the start of that journey down? Not down, just the start of that journey.
It was weird too because Tiger had the whole cheating scandal, then he had the accident, so there's a lot of factors that played into Tiger kind of trickling down the rankings and things. And he's got his back too, like his back has been giving him issues for so long. And he's the draw, he's the main draw for how dominant he was for so long. Paul McBeth, I look at, there's still memes of like players in first place, like there's a cartoon of whoever's chasing the trophy and like Paul McBeth is like chasing up behind him. Like that's always real. He's always the threat of doing something on the card. It doesn't matter where he is. Like he has the ability to shoot a hot round and catch up very quickly. We've seen that so many times. So I don't think the decline is as fast as what Tiger's is, even though Tiger's was like a, gentle and then kind of a drop. That's not going to happen with drop. That's not going to happen with Paul, I don't think.
I think the other big thing is that like with Tiger, it was truly just like a fall from grace and like just the career kind of, winding down where that's like the golf, like the level of golf has always like the skill level has gotten better, right, as time has gone on. But like the leaps and bounds that the players are in disc golf of where they were so long ago is just so different as far as, when we compare the two, that I think it's more of a mixture with the Paul effect of just players have just gotten so much better that it's just hard to really say if he's slipping or anything like that,
or if the field's catching up to him. And I think that probably speaks to even more how much more impressive what Paul has been able to do over the past 11 years. Staying in that top three until now, especially with how quickly the quality of game has increased. Because I feel like I probably play maybe the best I've ever played, these last maybe 2 or 3 years, aside from my injuries, but the last 2 or 3 years, probably the best I've ever played. But I mean, it's not the best I've ever been rated. I think maybe I'm just shy of where the best I've ever been rated, but it's just the quality of the player that's in the game now. There are how many 10, 30 plus rated players compared to 11 years ago, so, and there's every state you go into, they probably have 3 or 4 of them that are joining these local, tournaments that are getting in and just dominating and showing up on lead cards and Jomez coverage and things like that. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do in reaction now that the disc golf world is making a big deal out of this, because that's usually a big motivator for Paul. And to see him come back and just kind of be like, all right, you guys think I'm done? Guess what? So I'm excited. With that being said, Ben, what you got for us? It's your turn.
If you could be a member of any TV sitcom family, whose family are you joining?
Ooh. Oh, that's such a hard one. Oh, could I be part of like Mando and Grogu's family? Because they're pretty darn awesome. Any sitcom family. So it can be from any era.
Any era. You're just one family.
Can I pick two?
Sure.
All right. There's two that pop out. JP, you want to go first?
I'm going to go with the Griffins from Family Guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pure dysfunction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking before too, this is like real, like early 80s, probably like mid 80s, the Keatons from like Family Ties. Is that what it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're wholesome. You know, Michael J. Fox was on the show.
Yeah.
Valerie, what's her name? Bateman, Jason Bateman's sister.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a very wholesome 80s family. I mean, there's a number of families like that I can think of, like off like the Tanner family from like Full House, or you know, someone like that. Excuse me.
So I'm thinking of two, and one is going to be the Bundys. Like
Okay.
Al Bundy, Kelly.
I know a little close to home. I was like, Ted?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not Ted.
No.
Al.
Okay. Al Bundy, yeah.
And then the other one would be the Allens from Tool Time.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Sorry.
Home
Improvement. Tool Time was his show.
Yeah.
I always thought that group and then the Bundys, for some reason, I just thought they had reminiscence of my family, like little piece of parts of my family. And I always thought it was kind of fun to see those personalities exaggerated and just put on display. I just enjoyed it. And I mean, let's be real. I mean, like what was the boy in the Bundys? What was his name?
Oh, I can't think of his name right now. I know the actor's name, but I can't think of his name. Bud.
Yeah. So it was Kelly, Bud. Yeah, Bud. Bud was like a guy. I don't know why. I felt like we could have been best friends. I don't understand why, but I always enjoyed it. And I watched an episode of that recently. It still holds up. It's pretty racy for nowadays, but it still holds up.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would be okay with no ma'am.
Well, Kelly and the stereotypes that Kelly played were ridiculous. And then, that like over masculine Al Bundy was super fantastic because he like basically ran a women's shoe shop, and he could care less about any of the ugly or fat women that came in, but any of the hot women, he would do anything to make sure he touched their feet. It was weird.
Yeah. And he always he'd bring up his days at Polk High where he was quarterback.
Yeah. Like, take a picture, Peg, and he would always wear his Heisman.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, what about you, man?
Probably the Hennessy family from 8 Simple Rules.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That was a show. I don't know that show. John Ritter, right? Is that the show I'm thinking of?
Yeah. John Ritter. Yep, John Ritter passed away during the run of that show, and then David Spade came in and as like uncle? The cousin uncle. Yeah, he was something like that, and he came in and kind of filled that cast slot. But that was just another like something you could like relate to. Like still watch that show when it's on, because they're like a Midwest family.
Mom,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Katie Seagal, is that her name? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But they're like a Midwest family, so like you could just kind of relate to them. And then the other one that I would definitely pick would be another show from that era, but it was very short-lived, was Still Standing. That was Jamie Gertz and Mark Addy. So they were a Chicago family, but that both families just pure dysfunction, similar to my own family, which is pure dysfunction.
I always enjoyed Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know if you've ever watched it.
Yeah.
I just, for some reason, I thought that was hilarious.
So are you familiar with the show Newhart and the Bob Newhart Show?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with the famous ending?
It was so long ago, but yeah, fairly enough.
Okay, so you guys, that like, I don't remember if it's Newhart or the Bob Newhart Show, but like he wakes up, like in the series finale, he wakes up in bed with the wife from the other show, and is like, I just had this dream that I owned like a cottage in Vermont, I think. They filmed at the end of Breaking Bad. They filmed an alternate ending of Breaking Bad where Bryan Cranston wakes up in the bed next to Jane Krakowski he's from Wisconsin, by the way, from Malcolm in the Middle, in the Hal character, and paid homage to Bobby Newhart and Newhart show.
Oh, that's fantastic. I sitcoms like that just have always, when I find a good one, I love watching it. So the one that I just recently found was Shrinking. It's on Apple TV.
Yes, I watched it. It was so good. So good. One of my favorite shows of this year.
One of the best. Did we talk about that on my Monday episode, JP? I think we might have, that I mentioned it or something the last Monday episode.
I think we mentioned it at one point. Not this past one, because the last one we did was the chips, but maybe the episode before.
Okay, it was phenomenal, and I binged it. Like, we watched like 4 episodes a night, and we were done. And I'm like, are they going to do another one? Is it going to be another one of those that
it just picked up,
show back up again?
It got picked up. It got picked up for a second season
on Apple still.
Yep,
dude, that's awesome, great. So, and then obviously Ted Lasso, you gotta watch that. I mean, that's that super dysfunctional family sitcom. So. All right, shop update. So the Horizon Halo Cloudbreakers, we may or may not have any by the time this airs, but they dropped today, and they are beautiful. They are great looking discs. And then we did have Castoplast drop. So we have the Grim X, and the CAC Z, which is on the final run plastic. I forgot what it was called, but it's like a
green.
Yeah, it's a
and
green,
shimmery.
That's the name of the plastic.
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and we were only allowed to get 3 of them. So I don't know.
I invoke my team status.
Yeah. So we had we did end up getting more, because I ended up having to call. No, I got 3 of each of them. I did end up having to call because I couldn't, for some reason, the ordering, the way that they order just wasn't working while I was in the car. So I just called and I was like, I don't want to miss these. Can you please put me down? Absolutely. They were in the shop before I got home. So that's fantastic. And we had the first run Stig in, and I bought Max on those as well. So those will be ready to be purchased. So those will be coming out really soon. I just got to look at the dates, but we'll get them up as soon as we possibly can. So, and then we have the April Jewel from Discmania also coming in. We should have them very soon, but we got the Cloudbreaker stamped
Enigmas.
Was it the links or the Enigmas? I think they were. I don't remember exactly what they are, but there was a few of them, and I didn't get many of them. I got like 5 or 10 of them, just those, because I thought they were pretty unique and different. So I'm getting those coming in, and then these patches. So like I said, we have both iron-on and hot, and then these hats. We have 2 other hats. We have Delta Fits, and we're getting some patches on. We'll have some offset, some center, and then the patches, the Velcro patches for your bags, will also be up on the site here pretty soon. So, and it is a Door Disc Golf Harvey, our logo, on a rubber stamp, and they're really nice, high-quality rubber stamps. So they'll be going up pretty soon. And I think outside of that, I don't have much else to say. Other than we added, or actually I say we, I'm not going to take credit for this. Kevin just killed it this week in the shop and put on probably an additional like 500 discs, maybe ish, somewhere around in that area. Wow. So lots more, and it's a lot of Discraft stuff. But also starting on Prodigy now. So this weekend we'll probably have another about 400 Prodigy go up, and then we're all caught up. We won't have any backstock that hasn't been put in. So it'll just be putting in the new stuff as it comes in. So outside of that, I got nothing else. Ben, you want to give a big update on how the Clash is going?
Yeah, we're just it's just kind of on autopilot right now. The event's full. We've got a wait list. I'm excited. We're a couple weeks out. Yeah, it's just like I said, on autopilot. All of the things that I need to get taken care of, I can't do until like registration closes and like the event is like done, and these are the people that are playing, and I gotta wait a little bit till I can set up some of the courses and do all that stuff. But yeah, it's exciting. Everything's knock on wood, good and going well. So
awesome. Yep. And I know there's some inquiries about adding to the wait list. So I think it's great. It's full. It's awesome. And I just finished today. I finished cleaning up after the springtime because I got back yesterday, and then I went and picked up all the baskets and all the other stuff today, and got approval that we are good to go for next year with slight redesigns. So we're good to go. I just need to move hole 1, and what was the other hole I needed to move? I needed to move one more hole. So it was one of the other holes that went close. I think it was 10 or 11, the one that kind of we threw off the corner, over the corner of one of the greens. Just move that one, and then we are good to go for next year. So it will happen again next year. And that is interesting because Mark Murphy now owns that property officially, and the clubhouse is now owned by a gentleman named Frank. I don't know his last name, but it officially happened today, and he's all about it. And I did get the desire was conveyed that they want to be open 100% for that tournament. So motel rooms, bar, all that stuff will be open. So it'll be a whole disc golf and held for the disc golf. So hopefully that happens. And with that being said, anything else to add?
I mean, shout out to CC Fulbrecht of UW Madison. She finished 3rd at college nationals.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So that was pretty exciting. It was pretty close. And then Taylor, I forgot what her name is.
Rosley.
Yeah, something like that. BYU. She took it down for the FPO.
Great.
I forgot who won for the men's. But yeah, that was pretty exciting to see her finish up 3rd.
That is awesome. I'm super happy to hear that. I know that we sponsor, or I personally sponsor, the UW Madison team. So I'm super happy that they did it. And it's nothing big. I just pay for gas. So although gas right now is stupid, but yeah, pay for them to get there and get back. So, and all their qualifiers. So super happy about it. Congratulations to them. And then hopefully next year will just be a bit better, but every year they get a bit better. So I'm excited to see UW Madison to become part of a formidable team. And hopefully it keeps going once the gentleman that is running it at the present moment, he gets one more year. And then hopefully someone will pick it up and carry it on. So with that being said, on behalf of Ben and I, keep it hairy, because it looks like both of us have a nice little beard going on. Oh, JP is here.
It's coming off soon.
Too bad. Yeah, mine. I know. Yeah. I need to shave.
I might have more hair on my face than Ben.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Well, enjoy doggy daycare next. Doggy school. No, doggy.
He's in puppy kindergarten.
Puppy kindergarten. Okay. Does he graduate to different levels? Like, does he go first, second, third, fourth grade, or is it?
We'll see. He's kind of a psycho, so we need to get through the first 6 weeks of kindergarten before we move him up to any advanced levels. So
that's weird. If I would have said that about my kid, I wonder how people would have thought. Can you imagine saying that about Dempsey? Like, he's kind of a psycho, but we'll see if we can move him up.
I can never. I don't think I would say that about him. Yeah.
Well, other than that, like I said, keep it hairy and subpar. Peace.